Today we're going to show you how to whip an arrow. We're using right wing feathers and a bit of cord. We'll start by popping it through the cock feather. These are right wing feathers, so I'll be going away from me. So I'm going to wrap it around the main shaft. About 5 or 6 times. Pinch it off with your finger, give it a tug, pop it back into the cock feather. That's taking the slack up, push it up with your finger and your thumb, and then just rotate the arrow shaft now. Just carry on whipping around now. You can keep the tension on as you're doing it. I'm not going to be doing a very tight whip through the feathers. What I mean by that is I'm not going to be doing 5 turns per inch like you would do on a Woolbow Society arrow. This is just sort of a medieval style arrow. So I'm going to give this another tug now, tighten it up, use the scissors, cut it off, and then just carry on. Now I'm going to start to go through the cock feather. This thread really is a little bit too thick for these feathers. I like to use something a little bit thinner, but I've given it away at the moment. It's on loan, so till I get it back we'll just do it with this. Depending on where the feather's been cut from the main feather when it was produced, you can have a different angle on the actual on the feathers, so that sometimes they won't match up. So you just have to adjust this as you're going. If it's too tight between it, the gap, pull it back out and move it up one. See? If you were doing a left wing feather, you'd be coming towards yourself and not away. There's no difference between left and right on how they fly. Just make sure you've got 3 left on there or 3 right. Don't mix them, because it won't fly right. Alright, we're going to stop that there. Alright, what we didn't do earlier was do this. This is going to help us whip the back end easier. Just a strip of paper, roll it up into a circle, a little bit of tape, and just stick it on. Now when you're whipping the back end of feathers, if they're square on the back end, or if you've got a shield feather, they're easy enough to do. When you've got them like this, when they're pointing backwards, they're harder. So you get the piece of paper, you put it onto the actual arrow, and then you push it back. So it pulls the feather down and leaves the back end like that. That's just got tangled up, just to get rid of that. Do it again. And this won't hurt the feather, and I'll show you in a minute. There we go, look. Now we've got room to work. So now we can carry on whipping. We're going to go around about 4 or 5 times, something like that. Push it down. Now we're going to cut it off. So I've got about 18 inches. I've got the arrow underneath my armpit now. That gives me a little bit more room. And I'm going to create a loop. And I'll come back on myself. Still going the same way, but back towards me, not away from me. About another 4 or 5 times. Okay, bring it through. Swap over with your finger and bring it down at the back of the binding. Now we're just going to wind it on and wind it off. There we go. Push it down. Give it a tug. Tidy it up. Snip it off. Bring this down with the feathers and fluff them back up.
Hail Satan! Hail Satan! Hail Satan! Hail Satan!
Got a message. There we go. And that's how you whip an arrow.